back. Welcome back to another Friday Fireside chat at Reparenting Daily. Thank you oh so much for being here on another week of reparenting. I sincerely appreciate and value you for taking some time to focus on yourself today and for taking some steps to make a better future. Today we're going to be discussing external validation and self-love. It is actually the theme of this week. And I've been taking some time to think about this myself. A lot of the people who I've known have grown up in dysfunctional families, and they haven't necessarily had that support from their family. And because they grew up in situations where their first relationships were not necessarily healthy or conducive of sufficient or appropriate validation, they've entered adulthood with this kind of a deficit. This deficit causes them to seek external validation, which, in all honesty, does help a little bit. But this external validation, this trickle of external validation, is never going to be enough to address the deep wounds that we have within us. And so it's kind of a tricky question, because we are humans, we are social creatures, we are wired to belong and to connect. And so we cannot completely disregard the need for external support or validation or recognition. That is a basic human need. At the same time, we cannot allow ourselves to become too dependent on us. Because if we are too dependent on that, we're basically giving away our power and autonomy. And so what I would like to ask and suggest is that when we're looking at self-love versus external validation, this week I think it's important that we examine within ourselves to what degree are we relying on external validation, to what extent does that impact our moods and our beliefs and thoughts. And the other question is the current level of self-love that we have sufficient to go without that external validation? I think a lot of this requires to looking at your own particular core wounds, your own stories and messages that you've received on repeat. Because again, of course, obviously, external validation can be helpful, but it's not a requirement. At the same time, we should not just throw it away and to devalue it either. There is value in external validation, but there is more value in internal validation, because that puts you in the driver's seat. That's it for today. As always, thanks so much for being here. Take care of yourself, and please do be well.